What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's live. Today is Your Topic Tuesday. I'm going to let you guys decide what you want me to talk about. So let's have some fun with this. If you have any questions, we'll have Mia get us started. But before that, let's do an intro. Check it out here. What's up, guys? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam Marvin, and I have been in the photography industry for 25 plus years. While I love being a creative, business is my passion, and elevating the industry of photography is my focus. I created the Seven Figure Photographer to share my journey to seven figures and help others find their way too.
That's amazing.
All right, so like I said, today is Your Topic Tuesday. You choose what you want me to talk about, and I will talk. And let's hope we can have some fun with this because it's up to you. Posing, lighting, tech specs on camera. Wow, James just jumps right into it.
He just went for that.
No holding back. Okay, well, for posing, I guess the best thing that I could give you about posing, this is a tough one. For me, the biggest thing I like to do is I watch for people's natural movements. And then that's kind of my starting point, my jumping off point. So I typically will have somebody just kind of, I'll put them in a scenario or in a position, and then I jump in. Oh, he says he's just kidding.
No,
well, I'm
keep
already
going.
on it. So we're doing this. So that's kind of where I start with just basically like watching their natural movements. And then like as they do things, I'll be like, okay, stop, do that right there. And then basically I'm going to work on it from that point forward. The other things that we try to do, now I'm not necessarily great at this, but focus on triangles and S shapes. So meaning with the hands, the natural triangles and the S shapes. That's pretty much like, for me, again, the biggest thing for me is I'm going for particularly focused on like what their natural movements are, because they have like kind of their natural things, and those are also the things that are going to be most notable to parents as well. Also with like heavier set people, I try to shoot from higher above, the whole selfie thing, hold it up high so that you get a better, so that's kind of one of those things. Sometimes with skinnier people, like if they're awkwardly or uncomfortably skinny, like that's a thing just as much as being heavy is. And so I try to shoot less flattering angles to thicken them up a little bit, as long as they're not like, you don't want to mess with somebody that has like an eating disorder or challenge or something like that. You don't want to mess with any of that. So that's kind of one of those things. Now, as far as tech specs on camera, my tech specs are based on the price. Like if it costs more, it's better. That's where I go. I don't know if that's properly probably the correct thing, but for me the biggest thing is I want resolution that's not necessarily gonna kill my hard drive space. I'm really big about just ergonomics and comfortable of use, like simplicity. Like the menu system, the Sony menu system absolutely kills me. So I've used it, loved the sharpness and everything. That was great, but that part's just kind of a hard one. As far as tech specs, I want fast, capable, but I also want since I went to Sony years ago and then switched back, that autofocus was probably one of the most important things to me. I'm a little bit shaky, so I noticed a huge difference going from mechanical camera to mirrorless camera, so I'm all about the mirrorless. Carrie says, oh, Sam, gas. Exactly. Gear acquisition syndrome. I have a whole video about that on YouTube if you want to go watch it. I don't know if Mia will find it and post it, but it's a pretty good one. I talk about gas and how I love to spend money. Apparently, James and I are very similar in this. We found out the other day in his coaching session that he won for being active in the group. And so we found a common ground on that one. So Okay, give me another topic.
Okay, they had another one. But I want to say too, like when you go back to your posing, I love that you like replicate for the kids what you want. Like, no, that's seriously, it's my favorite part because it makes them like all like, oh, that's fun.
It is pretty funny. Like you'll see me. I
works.
always try to do like little girly poses, like to
it's the best.
show.
I always try and catch it on the BTS.
Mia always is trying to get those videos, and honestly, like looking back, like it's embarrassing when she does get them, but like. When I see those in videos and posts and stuff like that, I'm like she posted one on 7FP not too long ago, and I was like,
it'll be back again.
All right, that one was kind of cute. Like,
was cute.
I actually looked decent in that one, so I'm all right with it.
Okay, Carrie wants to know what your best time saver in your business is, or biggest time saver in your business. I said me, of course, but you might have another answer.
She actually costs me a lot of time. She always wants to talk.
What?
I'm just kidding. So probably the biggest time savers in my business, automating things, my CRM. So because that really automates a lot of things for me. And let's see here. What else would you say are my biggest time savers?
In all honesty, like it sounds silly, but when we sit down and we have like our planning meetings and we know exactly what we're doing, like I feel like that helps me.
So Mia's going to say scheduling, which we all know that Sam's not good at, and so that couldn't be a time saver in my business. But
well, it is a time saver in your business when you actually do it.
We are working on it. We've actually been scheduling a lot lately. We have quite a bit of stuff scheduled out for the year.
Yeah.
We've been working at it. So yeah. So that would probably be one of them. But I would honestly say the biggest things for me, the biggest time savers are really understanding like how to, like I think kind of time blocking stuff out like helps me a good bit. Outsourcing is probably the biggest time saver. My wife just said because she is our outsource person. So yeah, that's probably, but Zapier is probably one of my biggest time savers. I literally do, like there's so much that I do with Zapier and with my CRM. Steve says, what CRM are you using? I actually use Tave. I've used, you just answered the question. This is my topic. They get to choose and I talk, Mia.
You told me to answer their questions. I'm answering their questions.
So yes, we use Tave. And we actually just switched back to Tave from Pixify. Pixify is great, grand, and wonderful. Love it. They're great. Tim is great to work with. But there were some things I was just really missing about Pixify or about Tave, and so we made the switch back. And honestly, I'm happier than ever to be back. I finally figured out one of the biggest challenges that I was facing, which is really dumb. I left Tave because I wanted to be able, the biggest reason was I wanted to be able to text my clients like reminders and stuff like that. And so Pixify became the obvious answer to that. As my friend Tiffany Hicks reached out to me one day and said, I finally figured out how to do text messaging with Tave through Zapier. And so I was like, okay, let me check it out. And as she showed me and she linked me to the profile, I was like, we've been able to do this with Tave for years, so why did I leave? So I don't know. That was, but I love them all. 17 Hats is a great one. It's lacking in a lot of things. Like I think it's great for a lot of people, but when you get into more of the technical stuff, like you really wanting to create systems and processes for things, then it does lack in there. Any good CRM that allows you to integrate with Zapier gives you a lot of opportunity. Also, Trello is great. Honestly, like I feel like if I were to start tomorrow,
you do Trello?
So, well, yes and no. Like I don't know that I would just bail on Tave. That would be a really hard one. But if I was a new photographer starting out tomorrow, and I was like, okay, Sam, what are the things that like you would suggest for me? I would say Trello as probably the number one, like just to save for not spending like too much money right off the bat. And because I've always it's always intrigued me, like what would it be like to just go move to a different town, different state, whatever, and restart? Like how well would we do? How long would it take us to get back?
Yeah, I don't know.
To where we're at. Mia doesn't like that idea.
I'm not so sure I like the idea.
But I think the cost of living here is becoming so ridiculous that they just sold an 815 square foot house here in Boise for $515,000.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
Downtown?
So not even downtown, but yes, downtown. Did that make any sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, hope that was beneficial, Steve. I'd love some more questions. Deb McGuinn says, "What do you use?" Sorry, I had to reboot. Oh, Tave. We use Tave. It's such a cool resource. We've actually been talking a lot about CRM and Trello in the 30-day lead challenge. So I realized that everybody doesn't necessarily know like what we've been talking about. So you're missing out.
Yeah.
Like we went through some good stuff. So we will be doing another 30-day lead challenge. Of course, this is kind of the launch point, and we're seeing how things go and hopefully getting some feedback from people about what they like, what they love, what they hate, and making it a better program and being able to launch it again. So Jason says cost of living is going up everywhere but Midwest. Honestly, like when we went out and saw Craig Lee out, I couldn't live out there. I couldn't live in
like
the crazy wind, but it was beautiful out there. I loved the open just country. Yeah. Like it was beautiful, and the big clouds, like it was cool. So give me another topic.
How do you avoid burnout?
I don't. I just burn out and then do it again. I'm just kidding.
Well, that sucks.
Actually, that is a really good question. And I think that I've accidentally set myself up well for this. Because what happens is typically the way my season works, we kind of we're slammed until the day before Christmas.
Yeah.
Right? That's because we're getting everything done with seniors. Then we have orders that have to be done with CIC Pro Lab, my lab business. We have last minute, have to get everything out to clients for other photographers that order through us. And so that's kind of our deadline is or that's kind of because we have a lot of local people that order. And so we'll have last minute deliveries. I typically like to do actually, I don't even like to do up to New Year's or Christmas Eve. I do it a couple days before. And so then it's I have 2 months, at least 2 months. So we have January, February. Yeah, 2 months of pretty much travel and stuff. And so those are the 2 months. I don't even allow myself to schedule much in those times, because those are the times where we spend a lot of effort focusing on what are we going to do better. I go to a lot of education seminars or conventions, stuff like that. And that's my recoup time. So I think it's good to make sure that you have a season, but also it's good to spread it out as much as you can. Honestly, if you looked at it, we have March, April are two busy times. We can do destination shoots during January and February. We just haven't been doing much of it. So we could do March, April, and then June, July, August, September, October, November. So that pretty much gives us 8 months of solid work, pretty solid work. And then that means that we're 4 months, which 9 months, because December is a lot of work and we're still making a lot of money in December because of sales sessions and stuff. And so technically it's 9 months with 3 months off. I mean, how terrible is that?
Not that bad.
If I just did it more focused, I don't know. But then maybe, yeah, that's my story. Steve says, what makes your studio loom?
Probably studio room expensive.
Oh, look, expensive.
Oh, look. There you go.
When someone walks in. You mentioned last week that when someone walks into your studio, they know it will not be cheap. Do you have pictures of the studio? Actually, we do, in a lot of places.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
Them in the group.
So ultimately, yeah, we'll post some pictures for you, Steve, and I'll even find a video. I have a video from years ago where I did a studio tour, which we should do that again.
Yeah, maybe we should do that rather than showing a whole video.
And maybe we will do that, just do a walkthrough and record it. So ultimately, I think that what really matters is making sure that the appearance is something of high class, at least. That can be paint, paint choices, stuff like that. There's even some things about our studio that don't vibe, like the 2 cheap Craigslist pink chairs we have out front. Like that doesn't really vibe. If there's one thing that I could do, I would upgrade and update the furniture significantly to go for just higher end, higher look quality furniture. There's other than that, like if you walk into my studio, it's dark hardwood floors, gray walls, white trim. And it has not, you won't see pictures sitting on the floor. The pictures are all on the wall. They're all completed, finished. That could even be better. But the idea is that when you walk in, it's very classy looking and it's not a cheap. I've been into a lot of studios that are cluttered as hell. And when you walk in, they look like just clutter. And so I think that that's one of those things that can be. We have clutter. Don't get me wrong. We have clutter in here, in my office, on the desk. Like it looks clean here, but behind the camera is Mia.
Hey, whoa,
Yep,
whoa.
Yep, that's Mia. There's the mess right there.
No, wait a minute.
See her desk?
That's
See?
totally unfair.
See? But for the most part,
That's
like
so unfair.
for the most part, we actually have our crap together. I would say. We definitely have our quirks and like our mess. I'm probably the worst. I get like shit built up on. Sorry, I shouldn't say shit, but whatever. I just said it again.
Well, I think too, like when they walk in, if they're here, like we offer them drinks, we walk up to them, we kind of greet them. We just
and
make
some
it
of that
feel
is
classy.
like even like the type of water, which our cooler is completely empty right now.
Yeah.
We gotta update
We need
it.
to
But
do
like
that.
we'll do like Fiji water or we'll do like mochas, like the Starbucks thing. So we try to have like classy
Monsters.
drinks. We have, we don't have cords and stuff everywhere. We try to keep everything just really clean and classy looking. And we've struggled on the clean thing, meaning like making sure floors are clean and dusted. But I have a cleaner that comes in, which is my sister. And she's been helping us out a lot there. And so I think it's just all those things. You want to make sure that the vibe is like classy. Here's a good example. Go to find a local, let's see, what's the best example of how to do this? Like, well, go to a grocery store. Go to your local.
I think you're on my face.
Am I? I am.
Can we not?
Go. So,
Wait a minute.
go to like a local down on the dumps grocery store, like your local mini mart kind of grocery store. Walk in there, take in the smells. That's a big part of it too. Take in the smells, the environment. Like, does it feel like they've just stuffed everything in there? Is it well kept? Is it clean? And then go walk into like, I don't know where you're at, but like a Publix or like a, I'm not sure where Steve is at. So, or like an Albertsons or something like that. And you'll see a definite difference. And like, it's one of those things like when you walk in, okay, this is more upscale. It's probably going to cost more. Could I do more to make it even ritzier and nicer? Absolutely. Like, I saw a thing on TikTok or a video on YouTube or something about, there's this girl that she walked into, I think it was a Four Seasons, and just the smell inside was like expensive smelling. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I love the smell. I always feel." And there's so much associated with smell
And
like,
sound.
like smell and sound. And so having music at the right level, maybe not dropping F-bombs constantly, those kinds of things, those are always important things. So I think there's a lot that people can do to really make their studio look up class. If you're hanging pictures, this is one that I saw, and I'm going to throw somebody under the bus. Hopefully, I'm not going to say any names. I was in a studio this year, and I saw pictures that were just, I don't have an example. I need a picture. Here. Well, no, this isn't quite it, but
Just like a picture? I've got a picture.
we'll just say this thing. Like, literally a picture printed out on a piece of like foam core or cardboard. No finishing to it. No decoration, anything like that. And it was literally taped to a wall. Okay? That doesn't like scream classy. If you walk out and look at any one of the pictures on my walls, they're either well framed or They're nice canvases. In fact, do
No,
we have
they're all
anything
framed.
that's not framed now?
Only metal.
Oh, okay. So only metals. Even so, like I'd rather have my metals framed. So those are some of those things that you can make sure to like make sure that it fits within that style. But if you really want to know, go visit some places that you would never be caught normally. Like maybe it's a super high end hotel restaurant. I'm a really big proponent, I think is the correct word, of if you want to experience it, like if you've never stayed in like a Four Seasons or something like that, go stay in a Four Seasons or go.
I think that's an assignment I can get behind.
That's an assignment you can get behind? Okay. And that's a good thing. Like, honestly, I would, because like if you were to see what it's like you pull up and they do stuff like the bellhop comes out and they pull your luggage out of your car and they look at the name tag on the luggage and they're like, thanks for joining us, Mr. Marvin. And you're like, wait, what the hell? How did you know my name? Like, that's the kind of thing, like, that's the kind of service. And you're like, okay, this is nice. Like, this is bougie. This is going to cost me money. You walk in, and again, like, the service, the experience. I mean, there's things like, for us, like, people walk through the door, and sometimes they make it through, and we don't even know that they've walked through, and they're just standing out there.
That
Why?
bell's gone.
Huh?
The bell's gone.
Why? I wonder why that is. We
I
need
don't
to
know,
fix
but we
that.
need to fix it.
But even still, sometimes we're slow about getting up and helping. Like maybe in my next life, I'm going to have a person sitting out front and all they do is just get to watch the door, even though there's not very many people that, like, just walk through.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to be that busy.
Carrie says, do you ever get to do creative shoots, the stuff that makes you happy apart from your normal work?
I have the opportunity to do that. However, I don't do it. And that's one of those things that, like, I have wanted to push myself to do. The hard thing for me is it takes a lot for me to channel my creativity.
That's fair.
I'm very business focused. I'm very driven. Like I said, I have 5 different businesses to focus on. So it's like, and I'll be straight up and honest with you, there's days when some of them get zero focus from me. And it shows, like, look at CIC Pro Lab. I haven't done much with that business for a long time because, like, it's not in a place to really make it grow. Like, I could give it some effort, some time, and really make that business grow. So, so it's hard for me. I would love to do more of that creative stuff. But I've also recognized that creates more work for my business and for my people in my business. That doesn't necessarily, I would love it. Like if there's anything that I could really focus on, I would love to go out and shoot specifically for competition, like print comp at the PPA and state level. So those are things that, like, I wish I could do more of. But any other questions we got, or any topics, not questions?
Sorry, not questions.
You can
topics.
you can ask questions too.
I'm trying. I was just sitting there thinking it would be fun to go shoot, just to shoot.
I think it would be great too.
Topics. It's another topic. Yeah, Carrie says she feels like 7FP is almost your creative outlet, and I would agree with her on that one. Like,
it is, but it's still very much business, and it's
yeah, but business is what you like too.
But it also,
different types of photographers.
like, I go through like this is kind of one of those things where this is my off season, and so I spend a lot of time focused on 7FP. As I get crazy busy with Samuel Marvin photography,
Yeah, that'll fall
you're
off.
gonna notice that, like, I struggle with keeping up with everything on 7FP because I have my regular coaching clients that I have to focus on, and that takes a good bit of time as well. And so I got to focus on, like, some of those things. But it probably is some of my creativity. Really, what it is I love helping people, and I love talking, I guess, is really what it boils down to. So, but I love sharing. Like, for me, nothing gets me more excited than business. Like, I don't know why, but that's like that's my happy spot. I'm gonna cut to Mia just because she's staring off into the distance.
I am. I was thinking in my head and dancing.
You look like Ellie there. Okay, sorry. I just had to do that because I can. Okay. Business takes a huge amount of creativity. It does. Like, you have to get creative about some of the things you do. Like, for instance, one of the things we're talking about in 30-Day Lead Challenge, our our focus is, and this is something I've told everybody, is a lead is a name, phone number, and email address. And one of the things that we focus on, like in the book Traction, is our scorecard, getting leads every day. And so yesterday on a phone call, I had somebody that I was talking to, and I could tell she wasn't really in it. Like, I don't know that maybe we will turn her, but she was kind of like, okay, well, I'll let you know. And I was like, can I get your email address and I can send you some information? And so it was just really all about that. I don't know what that had to do with. There was a point.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you went.
I went off on that one. Okay, Deborah says, how do you know when it's time to hire a studio manager? I know I need help, but I worry about keeping them busy enough. So that's a great question. In the book that we're reading, Traction, it talks a lot about team players and team members, right people, right seat. The 17 Hats, the program, obviously, is created after the concept of photographers wearing multiple hats, doing multiple different things. So when you realize that there are things in your business struggling because you're not able to give your best attention to them, that's when you realize that, okay, I've given it my all, but I'm not doing a good job and it's not serving my business. It might be time for me to hire, okay? A studio manager, that one's a little bit harder because you're looking at a higher cost of like a higher expense for your business. So you got to know that you have enough work for them to do. And I would also suggest that, like, for Mia and I really dug in and was like, in fact, I did it wrong the first time. I hired somebody and I really didn't jive. It didn't feel good. With Mia, that was part of the reason I actually went into the back room, because Mia was actually working in the lab in the back. And I was like, you know what? Like, I always have good conversations with her. Like, and I just felt much better. Like we could talk. And, I found myself wishing that with the new girl that I had hired, wishing that I had that kind of like a talk. I could talk to them, like feel comfortable. And with this person, I did not feel comfortable. So that's when I decided I was going to fire them and talk to Mia. And everything kind of like, it was like one, like.
Yeah, it all just kind of fell into place.
It kind of did. And that's, yeah. So anyway, that's, the biggest thing is making sure that you have enough for them to do, because you want to keep them busy. Like, that was one of the things I recognized when I hired my first Mia that didn't work. Was I was like, okay, I can't hire somebody and expect them to be a part-time worker. Like, I think she would actually be happy if, well, maybe not. Maybe not the money aspect part-time, but like her whole thing was she felt like she could be, like she could have done a lot. But one of the problems for me is that we pack too much on her, and then I have to be like, okay, what do we got to take some stuff off of her, because we're just like, I get lazy about things because I'm like, oh, well, Mia gets stuff done, and so then I don't pay attention to things, or I become like, for instance, social media. Like, I used to be like, everybody used to tell me, oh my gosh, you take more selfies than most high school girls, and I'm like, I don't think of it like that. I'm just trying to be like them, do what they're doing, and kind of keep up with their way of communication. And I got away from that. And then when Mia came in, I don't do hardly anything with social media. In fact, she runs a lot of the stuff, and like starting the communication with you guys. Like, I'll see posts and I'm like, oh, I didn't know she posted this. I'm like, oh, maybe I should interact with it. So you do get lazy about a lot of things, but at the same time, she's freed me up to be able to focus on the most vital tasks. And really my strong places, or my
zone of genius
is photographing and the sales, and really like working with people. But those are probably my two zones of genius. And I could even do away with the
counting
sales.
Obviously isn't one of them, because you were at 3.
Counting. Well, I know, but I was like, shut your mouth. Yeah. So anyway, you're such a
Can I say something too on that for Deb?
Go for it. I'm over you. You're fired.
I think too, one of the things that made it work so well, and they talk about it again in Traction, is that Sam has systems in place. So it wasn't like, and even the systems that he didn't necessarily have in place when I came in, we've been able to build those systems so that we are able to communicate back and forth really easily. It's not like I'm just sitting here doing like random stuff that I have no idea if it's moving the needle forward. Because you have those systems in place, I know what I can do. And I think that was helpful for me once we got that up and running. So get some systems done and ready first.
Yeah, and that's I mean that is a big thing. Like, but some of those systems weren't in place. We didn't realize that we had those problems until you were here, and not because you caused problems, but because it was like, okay, there's another dynamic to how things work. Michelle does her thing at home, and you do your thing here, and I do my thing over here, and we start to learn new problems because we get customers that call and say, hey, what about this? And then I'll be like, oh yeah, let me check that and get back to you, and then I forget to get back to them. And so there's obviously a break in the wheel. We got to figure out what do we do to make that work. And that is, Deborah, that is exactly right. The first thing, like for instance, one of the things that I really want to do is I want to open up a couple other studios. And this was actually something that we discussed on the way back from St. Louis last May. And I was like, okay, the first thing that I need to do is make sure that every one of my systems and processes are in place and dialed in so that I can replicate. If you look at any, like, watch the show The Prophet on, I think it's ABC or NBC, with Marcus Lemonis. The first thing he does with every business is he looks at it and he says, okay, because everybody wants to take a business and make it a franchise. And if your business is running like absolute garbage, like you're just going to replicate garbage. Yep. So if I want to replicate what I'm doing, I have to have good systems in place and know that, okay, here's the process for how this gets done. And if it's not working, let's look at the process and figure out where the real root of the problem is, fix that. And then when the process is working, then we have a business that we can replicate and create the same thing, because everything's documented and easy. So I think that's a big thing. You have to understand, you have to know, and you have to have a good idea of what are you giving up? Like, what are you actually outsourcing, or what are you actually having somebody do? And if you don't even have like a good process for how you do it, you're just going to be throwing money away. So something to think about. Yes, system is my first priority right now. Fire her and she can work for me.
I think there's a
Good.
list.
Huh?
I think there's
yeah,
a list.
you might be on the list, like closer to you'd be the next one on the list. Good luck getting her to move to New York.
Or Texas.
That's questionable. So we're not even going to go into that one. I asked her today, I was like, if Michelle and I decided to move to Texas, would you follow us? And she was like, I don't know that I can, but I think she would.
I don't know.
I think she would.
I don't know.
I got a plan on how we could do it. Like, we don't even have to move to Texas. We could just go down there like 4 months out of the year and just do winter.
That I could get behind.
So we could do winters down there until the business down there is like strong, and then we'll just hire another photographer up here and we'll move down there. Boom. Just kidding.
James says Ohio.
Well, I don't want to compete with you, James. I don't have too many. We do have some Texas people, but actually, I don't know. I love James's like whole like world out there. I bet, and I know Ohio's beautiful. Honestly, so my wife is from Pennsylvania, and I think it's gorgeous in Pennsylvania. But East Coast, I don't know. I don't know if I could be that close to my my family out there. Who knows? I probably could, but I do love the East Coast. I've spent a good bit of time there in Virginia and in Pennsylvania, and it is beautiful, but I don't know. I want to feel like I can do whatever I want. That's all. Okay, I know it's like picking your fave child, but your one favorite business book. Oh, frick.
Oh.
You're crazy.
I want to see if I can figure out what your one would
Okay.
be.
I'm going to get up, and you guys are all going to have to see my butt. What do you think?
Is it over there?
Yep. Well, yes.
Just one favorite, huh? I'm going to go with the Mike Michalowicz or a Russell Brunson. .com Secrets?
That's really your final answer?
No, I don't know. I don't know. You have so many favorites.
Is it sad that I don't think my favorite book is here?
Oh, is it one that you gave away?
Maybe. This one I obviously loved because I even like this is like my old Bible.
I don't know. That's a hard one, Carrie.
I can't believe you're not getting this one.
I
And
don't
yes,
know.
My main Mike McCullough's book is not
Yeah, because
here.
Prophet First
Prophet
isn't there.
First isn't here. Okay, so this is what we're gonna narrow it down
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Either, except for this, like I love the concept of Pumpkin Plan. It's not necessarily my favorite book, so that one's out.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking you were surprised to get that one.
Not Overcoming the Imposter. I got books freaking everywhere here. This is ridiculous.
Dog ate my book.
Yeah, Mia's
That's a good.
dog.
The one page that was a good one.
Here,
I
let me
really
see your
liked that.
book.
My book. Are you serious?
Yep.
But-
Let's show them your.
Okay, but you guys, I love books. Like
This is how she treats her book.
No, that is not.
She feeds them to her dog.
No, that is
and why,
so-
if you would just feed your dog more, maybe your dog wouldn't eat your book or your shoes.
Ironically, I have to buy dog food on the way home, and he
Or
did eat a shoe yesterday,
underwear.
and I was totally pissed.
Yeah, see, like you just need to. Oh, here's one. And this,
Oh my goodness.
see, there goes the mess. This one actually. Oh, it doesn't have it in here. This is one of the coolest books I ever got. Giftology, and it came with a metal, like book. What is it called? Book marker.
Mine is. I still think mine is the 12-week year. To me, that was just like.
I still haven't told you what my favorite is, though.
Oh gosh, I just had it. What's the one that you talk about? Except for not Big Leap. What's that other one? No, I don't know. What is it?
You just said it.
It
It is Big Leap. Yeah, The Big Leap. So it's by Gay Hendricks. It's The Big Leap. It would be a hard toss up between that one and Profit First. Profit First was such a freeing book for me, and it is about money and numbers and stuff like that. But it probably between that and The Big Leap. Big Leap, just because it was such an eye opener to realize that, like, and I'm experiencing this with some things, but to realize that we actually set ourselves up and sabotage ourselves regularly. And it's important to find what makes you happy and what makes you the strongest, and focus on that. And what's called your zone of genius is to find your zone of genius and focus on it. And if you do that, you're going to be the happiest and you're going to be the strongest. And I think that's why for me it's business. Like it's like I love business, but yeah.
Maybe it is time for me to reread that. Probably at a good
Yeah,
phase.
because you didn't even like it.
I didn't like it the first time. I don't think I was in the right phase of my life to.
You're crazy.
I'm not crazy.
You're crazy.
It wasn't a good time for me to read it. I just read it and I felt down on myself. Like I had a hard time figuring out what that spot was or what I wanted to do, and I felt torn in so
your
many directions.
perspective was.
My perspective was off.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay.
interesting.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I remember I was reading it on the plane out to Sink and back, and it made so much sense to me. Like, it just, and I think that's really what it is. It's just like education, everything. We have different points in our life when we're ready for different things. I looked through my list of content for 7FP, and we literally have a list of like probably 50 or 60 different content ideas for 7FP. And I read through it and I'm like, nah,
He's always like, Mia, what's the topic?
And I ask her what topics I should talk about. And then I'm like, I'll find one. I'm like, oh, yeah. But like when I write them down, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such a good topic. I'm going to write it down. And then I'm like, just not feeling it. So that kind of kicks my butt. Carrie says, awesome. I own it now to get through it. Well, don't forget that we have Sell or Be Sold, which is next month's business book of the month. And it's a good one. It's an easy read. Honestly, The Big Leap is a relatively quick read, but it's deep.
Yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't.
And you
quick
should
for me.
read it, Carrie. Actually, I think that would be a good slap in the arse for her.
She
She loves me.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. Okay, I got one more. Room for one more because we got to go. We
Yeah,
have to
we
make
got-
it to a
got
meeting at
stuff
1
to do.
o'clock. And so, what's next? Do you got a good topic? I can't believe nobody said sales.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised too. But sales would take like too long, so that we can't do that one this time.
Okay, fine.
Well, we have our convention coming up. So what's the benefit of like being part of your local
State organization.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Pitch
there's
it.
so much because like, it changed my life and my business being a part of the Professional Photographers of Idaho, mainly because I got to be around other people that had the same passion, same love, same drive as me. And I got to see like that things were possible. And then I also had kind of that built-in cheerleading club, whatever. And so it really drove me a lot to realize like what my potentials were. I remember at times like being in PPI thinking, man, I just want to be like that person or this person, and wanted to grow. And so that was like, you know, eye-opening to be a part of it and to grow beyond it and everything. So those are all, like, I just think that it's so good to do it because it strengthens your community, it strengthens your industry, and helps so much in that aspect. And so ours fizzled out, unfortunately. Start a new one, Deb. It's hard, I'm sure, but people need it, and people need that community. And everybody say hi to Annie. She's in the background there. And Romeo. Hi, Romeo. Romeo, come here. Come here, Romeo. Oh, you're going to take him? Okay. This is Romeo. Romeo's our mascot here. He looks like a grumpy old man.
I can make Romeo perform here.
Okay. So anyway, that's probably, I think that the state organization, a lot of people like struggle with paying for it, like not seeing like the value or the benefit, but I think there's a huge amount of value in it just because, like I said, you get to be in community that is really like along the lines of the same thing you're trying to do. And so you get a lot of help here.
I found a chip Romeo doesn't like.
You did?
No.
It's spicy, that's why.
They're so good.
He's like, it's spicy. So, yeah, definitely jump in and get started. Find a couple of photographers, create a board, like get it going. And it is challenging because it's all volunteer and you have to do it. Your battery died, you goober. But that's all right. We're going to close this up anyway.
Here's
So,
Romeo. You keep Romeo. Show him his trick.
what trick?
Make him do the Ashley.
Oh, he won't do it on my lap.
Sure. Yeah, he will.
Really?
Right here.
Okay,
Here's
Romeo.
his treat.
Look. Do you want a treat? Want a treat?
The Ashley. You gotta do the Ashley.
Did Ashley? Oh, there you are. There you are. Okay. When is it? So it's actually in like 2 weeks. We have Lindsay Adler coming out, and yeah, if you guys want, it's $150 to sit with her for a day. If you want to spend an extra $150, we're actually dropping tickets tomorrow to do one-on-one dinner. Well, not one-on-one. It's
Well, that went up today, by the way.
no. Well, they announced it today, but the tickets don't actually go on sale till tomorrow. So we're gonna do 16 or 14 people with Lindsay and her assistant for like a VIP dinner. So pretty excited about that. And other than that, Romeo just made his first debut as the 7FP mascot doggy. So yeah.
So you should
What do you
tell
think?
James, take that, #1 fan.
Oh, I forgot about that argument. James is thinking about doing some coaching, so he's trying to compete. He's still got a long ways to go, but the mouth to mouth. Yeah, those mouth to mouth leads are hard to get sometimes. They're face to face, not mouth to mouth. What do you think, Romeo? No mouth to mouth with you. What? You got bad breath.
Okay, we gotta get going.
Okay. All right, guys. You guys have a wonderful day. It's been fun hanging out with you, but peace out, Girl Scout. I forgot what to do next.
End it.
Boom.